Are we ready to go? Okay, great. Well, thank you everyone for joining me today. Today I'm going to talk about Illinois WorkNet and the resources that are available within Illinois WorkNet to help individuals achieve their employment and training goals. And I do appreciate you taking time to answer the polling questions off to the right-hand side, because it's nice to understand where everybody is with, some people have heard of Illinois WorkNet, and sometimes this is a new experience for individuals with Illinois WorkNet. Also, the reason why I asked which type of audience that you're primarily going to be working with is because we have various pathways within Illinois WorkNet. So it's nice to kind of get a feel for which areas that you would most likely be interested in. We do have a file share pod at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, and this will be available at the end of the session as well. So if you would like to download the PowerPoint that we're going to use today, you'll be able to download that information if you don't already have it. So, and thank you for everyone for letting me know where you're from. Let me go ahead. I'm going to switch over and to another screen. And let me get my, I lost my, sorry about that. I lost my PowerPoint here. So I'm going to go through the PowerPoint, and if you have any questions at any time, you can go ahead and enter them into the chat box that's located on the left-hand side, or you can just simply ask them since we'll be using the phone as well today. After we go through the PowerPoint, then I'll go through and give you a brief demonstration of the resources that we have covered in the PowerPoint.
Asha, can you hold on just a second, please?
Sure. Yes, you can access the PowerPoint on your own computers later on in the day. You just simply use the URL for this webinar. Also, I can make it available out on our Illinois WorkNet site. That'll be available either Thursday or Friday. I can make that available. And I can show you where to find that on Illinois WorkNet as well. Okay, just let me know when you're ready.
Telling everyone that you were doing this on your master's program how many years ago when you went through the 2-week summer session and lived?
Well, let's see. I graduated when I was pregnant with my last daughter. So, and I can't believe she is, I think it was her, 5 years. She's 6 years old now. So time flies. It's been about 7 years, I guess. 7 or 8 years.
Whole family stayed in the dorm.
What's that?
Before she got it.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said you all stayed, the whole family stayed in the dorm.
Yeah. Yeah. Luckily at that time we only had one child with us at that time.
Have the 6-year-old. One more to go here, yes?
And we're at the mercy of Windows right now.
Okay. So are you in your first week or second week?
This is a 1 week long. They go all day.
Oh, okay.
So we're going 8 to 5 daily here.
Okay.
So we're on the 3rd day of an all-dayer. So they've got 2 more days to go.
That's good. Good.
Now you're going to tell them about WorkNet and how this all evolved, right?
Yes. Well, yeah. Did you want me to go ahead now, or?
No, we still have one computer to go here.
Okay. Well, while we're waiting, because I don't go specifically into like the very far way background. um, one of the needs with Illinois WorkNet's been around. Oh boy, has it been 5 years now? And it was really developed because we wanted to have an overall resource with that each of the local workforce investment areas could use that would provide kind of like a standard, of these resources. Because what was happening is there's a lot of really good resources and things that were going on in the different local workforce investment areas, but there wasn't a real good way to share all that information and have it in one spot. That's why we have Illinois WorkNet, the portal. And when we started out, it was kind of bare bones. We thought we had a lot of information at that time, but as we went through our pilot phase, which we started out with 3 of the local workforce investment areas, and then we reached out to 10 more, and then we eventually went across the entire state of Illinois. They had, we thought we had a lot of information whenever we only had 3 pilot sites, but by the time that we've gone through and now we have all of our 26 local workforce investment areas, we have even a lot more information, which is that's even better. But we've also, it's been a real partnership, and not only with our local workforce investment areas, but with also our partner agencies, because they've provided input. So we're really trying to provide information for all the different types of individuals that would be looking for a job or training and services. So it has really evolved over the past 5 years that you wouldn't even hardly recognize it from when we first started. And that's anywhere from content to usability to providing guidance to adding completely new pathways. It has completely transformed since the beginning, which is what you would expect. But I really do want to give all the local workforce investment areas and our partners credit, because they have really helped shape Illinois WorkNet as well.
And I think that everyone needs to understand that this really is a SIU project. All of the folks on WorkNet are on the payroll of SIU. And WorkNet, we would not have it if it were not for due to the work of Dr. John Washburn, who has written proposal upon proposal upon proposal to get all of this to come to SIU. So, and you're going to all hear Dr. Washburn on Friday. So he's going to be you'll understand why when you have Dr. Washburn as an instructor. Okay, Tasha, we're all up and ready to go.
Yep. Okay, well, fabulous. Okay, as I mentioned before, when we started out, we had the individual's pathway and the business's pathway. But as you can see, now we have 5 pathways. We have the individual's pathway, which, again, provides resources primarily to those individuals, anywhere from finding a job, finding training, finding services. We have the key sectors, which is a little bit different take. It's highlighting those key sectors that are have jobs that are critical to Illinois, as well as providing emerging type of jobs. We also have recently the disabilities pathway resources that was developed with DHS, and it is pretty unique because it takes all the information that was kind of hard to find and puts it together in one location. And we'll take a look at that. We have the businesses pathway, and we have a person up in Chicago, Juana Amaria, and she is actually continuing to develop the business side of Illinois WorkNet. I believe this week she's actually sitting down with the business services teams and working with them on mapping out all their processes and the resources that they use, so we can, further enhance the business pathway and tailor it to their needs as well. We also have the workforce professionals pathway, and the workforce professionals pathway are for what we call workforce professionals, and that are those individuals who assist individuals and businesses to help them meet their employment goals and training goals. And so sometimes we'll have people that I'm an accountant, but I think I'm a workforce professional, but that's not the terminology, that's not the way that's not the terms that we use for workforce professional. It's really those who assist individuals and businesses. So with the background information, some of the things that are unique with L9 WorkNet is that the information, whenever you look at L9 WorkNet, we are constantly making enhancements to the site. The information is dynamic and real time. The content managers, one of the things that's neat about L9 WorkNet is that each of the local workforce investment areas have content managers. So they can add events, what we call local promos, different veterans information, all different types of information throughout the entire site. And it's not limited to just those that are in our workforce system. The partners that are partners of the local workforce investment areas, they can have access to adding content for L9 WorkNet. So it can really shape the portal specifically for their communities. We use web services, and what this means is we can access our partner databases, so we're not all about reinventing the wheel. So when it comes to getting labor market information or using our resume builder, job postings, we're not recreating those databases and collecting that information. We're leaving that to the experts in those fields, and we simply pull the information from their site into L9 WorkNet, and it's seamless, and the end users would not know any different. But the information is maintained with those who specialize in that information. The portal is accessible, and this is really important to us. We want to make sure that L9 WorkNet is always accessible to those who have a disability, for those that maybe use JAWS or Zoom text. We also have a tool on L9 WorkNet, and we were one of the first in Illinois to use the Browse Aloud, or one of the few. We're at the forefront of all using Browse Aloud, and it's a really neat tool that allows individuals that even if you have English as a second language, or maybe you have a mild visual impairment, but you don't require Zoom text or JAWS, or you have a low reading level, you can use Browse Aloud, and Browse Aloud will actually read the information to you. You can use it to translate words, and it's also a really good tool if you have a person that is dyslexic as well. As I mentioned before, that L9 WorkNet really is built on partnerships, so we promote networking with organizations. A lot of our partners have public access to computers, but then we also have partners that are what we call dissemination sites, so they don't have public access, but they can still direct their customers to L9 WorkNet and the resources available. Throughout L9 WorkNet, we always try to provide guidance whenever possible, and we're continuously updating our pages so that we continue on that guidance approach. When we first started out, people were saying, well, they couldn't find information, or, it might have been hard to navigate. But what we really found out was all the information was there, but when they went to that page, they just didn't know what to do. They didn't know the questions to ask, or they just didn't know where to start. So again, that's why we're trying to provide more of the step-by-step guidance approach, break it down into manageable pieces for them and walk them through the process. We have a glossary so that they can, some of the terminology that's used within L9 WorkNet, they can understand, have better understanding for what we mean when we use certain words. With L9 WorkNet, you're not required to set up an L9 WorkNet account, but we have personalization features that are available if you have an account, such as saving notes, saving up to 20 resumes, saving up to 25 different links to resources. We just recently added activities where an individual can walk through the activity and save notes, so they'll be able to do that as well. We have a frequently asked questions section, and then we do offer training to our partners. We have the Certified Illinois WorkNet Advisor online course, which is self-paced, web-based course that's available. But we also offer various webinars and then training opportunities, in-person training opportunities as well. As I mentioned before, we are built on partnerships, so we try to always promote our partnerships. So as a partner that has public access to computers with internet, we do have an interactive map because we know that a lot of our customers may not have access to a computer at their home. So they can access the interactive map and find places throughout the state that have internet access. But in addition to that, we also have a listing of our partners that have the different types of services that they might offer. So, you know, if a certain location specializes in assisting youth or dislocated workers or just adults, they can use our advanced search features and find a location that meets their needs, as well as providing them a website address and location hours and address information and a map. We do have workforce professionals that access the Workforce Professionals Pathway, again, for guidance and resources, in addition to the resources that we already provide on the Individuals and Businesses Pathway. As I mentioned before, we have the Certified Illinois WorkNet Advisor course, and once they complete the Certified Illinois WorkNet Advisor course, then they earn one continuing education unit through SIU Carbondale. We do have a whole slew of marketing materials that are available for our partners, so they can download those materials and customize them and use them to help direct their customers to the resources within Illinois WorkNet. And as I mentioned before, all of our partners will be able to, depending on how the local workforce investment area would like to handle it, but they have the ability to add local content to this site. Oh, okay, I see Marcia has a question. How's the site funded and where are you physically located? So the site, Illinois WorkNet, is actually part of a larger program. We have Illinois WorkNet sites that are located throughout the entire state of Illinois. We have 26 local workforce investment areas that are throughout the state of Illinois. And then, so each of those are Illinois WorkNet centers. Each of them have Illinois WorkNet centers. Then they, depending on the local workforce investment area, some of them have satellite sites that maybe operate, 2 or 3 days out of the week instead of 5 to 6 days out of the week. Then in addition to that, then we have partner sites, and partner sites can be anywhere from a library, maybe a community-based organization. It could be, for example, in AWEA 15, we have, right here, we have a school, it's called Manual High School, and they are high school during the day, and then whenever they are not whenever they don't have their high school students available in the evenings, and I'm not sure what their summer hours are, but they're open to the community. So there's a computer lab that's available for individuals to come in and use the facility to help them with either finding training, helping with finding jobs, and so forth. So those are the different types of partners. So we're really located throughout the entire state. And Illinois WorkNet is simply, there's the physical locations and the virtual location. So today we're going to take a look at Illinois WorkNet, the website, which is our virtual location, but you can go to this map, the interactive map, and you can find all types of Illinois WorkNet partners as well as Illinois WorkNet locations. I personally am located in Springfield, Illinois. We do have some people located on SIU Carbondale's campus, as well as a person up in our Chicago area. And this program is funded through the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. Okay. As I mentioned before, we do have throughout the the entire state, all the 26 local workforce investment areas, each of them, as I mentioned before, can add local content. So they can add, we have examples of news and events. They can add those to any of those pathways, the individuals, businesses, key sectors, disability pathway. They can add what we call local interests or local promos that are available. We have business branding pages that are available, so businesses can promote their industry, not necessarily their products, but their industry to try to get people interested in going into that field. They also have different local listings, whether it's job listings or like the veterans resources as well. And we also have laid off worker pages for those that are familiar with rapid response. We have pages that can be customized so that if a person is laid off, they can direct them to that page and provide them specific information, layoff information. I'll take a look at that in just a moment. Now, the slide covers the information for the individual's pathway, and we are moving towards, based on feedback from the field, using an icon-based approach. So we have, as you log in, we have the skills and interests, my resume, news and events. Right now you won't see the my activities and my certificates. Those are coming. We do have activities available and certificate available in the youth activities, which we'll take a look at. As we move forward, we are working on adult dislocated worker activities as well, so those will be available under My Activities. So you'll see there are quite a few tools that are available. We have My Planner, My Notes, Shortcuts, Messages. So there are all types of ways that the information is being personalized for the end user. And as we move forward and we add excuse me, more programs, those will be enhanced as well. One of the areas that we have on here is the Veterans Priority of Service. So we want to make sure that people know about the different veterans resources and information. This is also a customizable area that is available for local workforce investment areas to customize as well. We also have the complimentary page on the Workforce Professionals pathway as well, with excuse me, a forum where they can ask questions, typically regarding policy questions, but they can also use these forums to share best practice and things that they encounter as well. With the disabilities pathway, again, it covers information from work incentives, benefits information, advocacy, youth and transition. And then this Find a Location nearby is a little bit different because it highlights the areas that specifically provide resources for individuals with disabilities. We also have the Key Sectors pathway, and if you'll notice there's a definition down here. The key sectors are projected to have significant job openings or affect the growth of other industries in Illinois, or they are existing or emerging groups of industries being transformed by technology and innovation, or economic conditions requiring new skill sets for workers. So I just wanted to point out the definition as we use key sectors. But right now we do have the ag, health, IT, manufacturing, and the TDL areas as our key sector industries. One of the things that's kind of neat about this section, and we'll take a look at that as well, is that they do have an area for individuals as well as businesses, and this is where you'll find your business branding pages. So the business branding pages are available for key sector pathways. We have the business section pathway. and these contain this contains resources for recruiting, training, and developing businesses. As I mentioned before, Juana Amaria in our Chicago office is working with business services teams throughout the state of Illinois to even further enhance. One of our big pushes or big things that we've been working on lately is social media. So that's a highlight on this page, but also to help businesses understand how they can use social media to promote their businesses and recruit individuals. I did briefly mention that we have the Workforce Professionals Pathway, and again, this pathway is to provide additional guidance and resources and tools that are available in addition to individuals and businesses. For example, we do have one of our programs is the Summer Youth Employment Program, so they have the ability to add these youth to groups, to view their information within their account, and pass their information directly to the Illinois Workforce Development System, which is the reporting system for the state of Illinois for the money. So, for example, for the Summer Youth Employment Program, they have to meet certain requirements and then report on their outcomes because they use the ARRA money. We have tools within Illinois WorkNet, the Workforce Professionals Pathway, to help them do that as well. As I mentioned before, we do have training and we have announcements, and we have site administration tools that are available to help each of the workforce investment areas to manage all of their partners. This pathway is role-driven, so each of the workforce investment areas have the ability to decide which person has access to which resources, and that's done through roles. As they also do their quarterly reports through the site admin tools on the Workforce Pathway. This is just a little bit of background information to show that we have a lot of viewers, and this just continuously grows, especially whenever we start adding more projects like the Summer Youth Employment Program, and we start working with even more of the businesses. We have an Encumber worker training system, tracking for their grants. So as we continuously add more and more of these tools, our numbers just keep going up as far as web traffic. Okay. I kind of mentioned some of these programs before, but just to show you that Illinois WorkNet, one of the things that we do is we're very flexible. So whenever a new project comes through or something that they need to disseminate the information and get the programming up really quickly, they often use Illinois WorkNet. An example of this is the Microsoft Elevate America program. This was a program with Microsoft where they offered vouchers so that they could take their online courses and business certification exams. And so what we did was, put together a program to do that automatically, to distribute the vouchers to the individuals that had Illinois WorkNet accounts. We also came up with a process to help them identify which type of courses that they should take. So we had a program so they could assess their existing computer skills to lead them on to the next step. Again, providing that guidance approach so that they can decide which are the appropriate courses for them to take, and then the next steps for actually setting up their account and getting their voucher numbers and storing that information within their Illinois WorkNet account so that they can easily access their Elevate America vouchers and courses in the future. Our Summer Youth Employment Program. We did the Summer Youth Employment Program last year. This is our second year. We submitted the information to the Department of Labor, and they have used Illinois WorkNet as a national model. So that was last year. We submitted the information for this year as well for review and approval, and they really liked the fact that we have two different sets of activities. We have our initial set of activities for our new participants, and we have a second set of activities, and we enhance the system so that they're online forms where they can store their information as well. So we have all different types of tools that are available for the workforce professionals to track their students' status. We give them guidance so that they can either set up an instructor-led or facilitated event, or they can use a self-guided approach. So what we do is we provide the tools that to help them with the project. We provide the resources. We provide the pre and post assessments, and then we provide them with options that best suits their situation or their community, or what type of resources they have. Because you have to understand, like through the state of Illinois, different areas have different resources and different needs. Some areas can easily access public transportation, and others not so much. So we want to provide the resources that are available, or the tools that make them available to them, with the flexibility to set up the program how it's going to best suit their customers and their situation. So for example, we have the self-guided approach or the facilitated approach. They can simply do all of this online and communicate via email or phone and have the person walk through the activities, and they can track them through those activities, or they can have a group all in the same room and work through those with an instructor with each of the students. Okay. Let's see. Oh, your question, are the instructor tools free? Yes, all of these tools are free. I typically talk about working with them with the local workforce investment areas, but this is also available to even high school teachers or anyone. One of the things that we have added to our Summer Youth Employment Program this year is a certificate of completion, and with the addition of these different activities, right now they're I guess kind of framed as the Summer Youth Employment Program, but really once we release the activities section on that personalized page, they'll be able to access any of these activities. Anybody will. They can also, that just kind of paves the way. For example, if a caseworker is working with a person and they're in a track where they're going to be looking for, doing research on what kind of training programs that they might use. This will be a really great tool so that they can see that, okay, this person, yes, they completed their interest inventory, and this shows that this might be, this would be a good match based on their questions that they answered and how they answered the questions. And once they complete that, then I can say that yes, they've taken a look at the wages and trends, and yes, there are projected to be job openings, and that I can also track that they have research training programs. So a person could fill out all that information, and then a caseworker could take a look at that information just online. Another area that we added was the WIA Work section. And with the WIA Work section, it is a place where one of the neat things about it is that they can upload their own success stories and their own pictures. So what this is doing is just paving the way for more personalization and that community of users where they can, individuals can provide content and examples. So the main thing here is that they provided different types of success stories, and they uploaded them themselves. They uploaded their pictures, and it just goes through an approval process and is released to the site. So again, more dynamic, real-time information. as I mentioned earlier, we have had a series of social media webinars, and it's walked the person through the businesses and individuals of, coming up with your own personal brand, the basics of social media, how to use the different tools, Facebook, LinkedIn, create fan pages, use Twitter, and wrapping it up with using different tools to manage your time while you're managing all your social media networks. So following up with using a tool like Hootsuite. So we had a lot of positive feedback with our social media webinars, and so as we move forward, we're just continuing to use these tools to help provide information to our followers, as well as get information, have a way for them to provide feedback to us, as well as the information that's within Illinois WorkNet, anywhere from finding a job, finding training, all those types of sources that are within Illinois WorkNet to incorporate social media. So, a tool like Hootsuite is a tool that will allow you, for example, just the other day I sent out a Summer Youth Employment Program tip to, I wanted to tweet it, and I also wanted to put it on our Workforce Professionals Facebook page, our fan page. So I used my Hootsuite account. I typed in my my message, and then I selected which social media avenues I wanted to post it to, and it just did it in one swoop. So I didn't have to go through each of these different types of a couple different places. I could just do it all in one location, and it also helps you to monitor, and it's pretty neat if you haven't used it yet.
Is that right?
So anyway, so I want to again, provide those tools and resources to individuals and businesses, because the tools are basically the same. Just the way they use that information. And social media is so huge, and just to make everybody aware that what you do online really will affect whether you get into a training program and get a job.
Tasha, they have a question here. Spelled Hootsuite. Spelled Hootsuite. Is it Hootsuite?
It's actually Hootsuite, like as a S-U-I-T-E.
Okay.
Like that type of Hootsuite. Mm-hmm. And all these webinars, I'm pretty sure, I'll double check. WANA should have that webinar archived and out there available, so you can go through and look at any of those. And also, I'll show you where to find the tools out on Illinois WorkNet. Okay. So as I mentioned, we have quite a few resources. This just gives an overview of the different types of tools that are available for the different categories: adult, dislocated worker, and youth. So it's primarily, job search, finding jobs, finding training, helping them prepare their resume, tools to help you apply for a job, interviewing, and so forth. We do have a couple areas that use a little bit of a different navigation. They were specialized areas. And this one, and our first one was the laid-off worker assistance. So this is when we really started using more the icon approach and the guidance approach. So it walks the person through, the services, getting a financial plan, finding training opportunities, getting all your information organized, finding jobs, and achieving their goals. And what it does, it has this navigation process along the top with recommended steps, as well as a video for each of those areas. One of the things, as I mentioned before, that's a real-time, dynamic page is that we have company-specific layoff information. So anyone that's going through a layoff or a rapid response, TAA event, they can have a customized page for those employees. And so, for example, they can say that, we have sections like what to do before you get laid off. They can put information about, upcoming events or anything specialized that they would need to do and think about before to prepare for the layoff, and then also what to do after the layoff. So if they have specific orientations, specific meetings, specific trainings, anything, they can simply customize those pages for whatever need that they need that's available. Okay, your question was, how do you get the word out that this service and website is available? Whenever we first, a couple ways. Whenever we first, they went through what's called a rebranding. These were IETCs, the Illinois Employment Training Centers, and they were rebranded as Illinois WorkNet Centers. As I mentioned, the physical along with the virtual site. So we went through a large marketing push at that time. And since then, it's really been more of a, I hate to say word of mouth, but it's, by building those partnerships, with the local workforce investment areas, they have marketing materials that they can use with their partners. And so they tell their partners, and their partners tell more people. We also do, conferences, and more people find out about those, whether it's high schools or, different associations or organizations that work with, maybe a person with special needs or and so forth. So as we work with the different departments and the different LWIAs, then, based on their needs, they can link to Illinois WorkNet. We have at the bottom of each of our pages where it says link to us, you can add a graphic and a link to Illinois WorkNet. Again, we provide marketing materials to all of our partners and so forth. So it's not as though we go on TV and tell everybody about it, but we do use our local workforce investment areas to spread the word. Okay. Another section that kind of follows the same approach as the laid off worker. This originally was our Elevate America section, but once Elevate America, once that program ended, it morphed into our computer skills section. So we have the first section is how Illinois WorkNet can help. Then we have our computer skill level. This is an interactive form that a person would go through and answer the question simply to find out what kind of computer skills. Do you have word processing skills, or are you more on a technical level? So depending on how you answer these questions, then the next steps will be provided. So if you aren't familiar with word processing programs, then your next steps would be to go to Microsoft and take these free online courses. So that's the next step. It takes you to the resources to help you find the appropriate type of computer skill courses that are available. And then the very last step that we have available is achieve goals. So once they have these computer skills, then what's the next step? Now that you have these computer skills, don't hide the fact that you have them. Make sure you update your resume, use it whenever you're interviewing, and so forth. As I mentioned before, or briefly talked about, we do have the My Skills and Interests. This is an example of how we're partnering with other agencies, and they already have an interest profiler, a skills profiler, and the work importance locator. So what we simply do is whenever they create an Illinois WorkNet account, it automatically creates an account with our partner, and then they can take their interest profiler, skills profiler, and save those results, and all they have to do is simply log into their Illinois WorkNet account, and they can review their profiler results. Now what's even nicer about this is that as a caseworker, if I'm working with an individual trying to help them find jobs or find training programs, I can go in and look at their profiler. I can add them to my customer group and view their profiler results to help help give them some guidance. As I mentioned before, this is the Summer Youth Employment Program. We talked about that quite a bit. But one of the things that we've added, this year in enhancements is that there are online activities that store results, and the information is real time. So, for example, if a person is taking their pre-assessment, then they can, the youth can take their pre-assessment all at one time. The instructor can go into the group and run a report, and they can see which questions that they did well on and which questions they didn't do so well on. So they have that information up front before they start the activities. They can make sure that they reinforce that information as they go through the activities. Okay. Is the Department of Commerce and Economic Workforce Opportunity under the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity? If that's what you're referring to, and are caseworkers considered career counselors? The caseworkers, depending on so the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, they receive the federal funds for the WIA funds, and they provide reports based on their performance for those funds. And the caseworkers are those, and career counselors. They could be career counselors, caseworkers. There's a variety of titles that they can use. But they would be the individuals who are, or the workforce professionals who are working with individuals to help them, first of all, identify their interests and if they would be a good match for the program and the training that's available, or identifying if they're finding, just looking for training programs, or if they are need to try to enhance their skill set and go through training programs. So does that answer your question? I hope. Okay. Okay. So an example we have here, let's see, going back from the work readiness activities, one of the examples that we would use to support to reinforce the learning for the summer youth is, part of that is prepare your resume. So with Prepare Your Resume, we have all different types of resources here to help a person prepare the resume. We also have a checklist that walks them through the different things to consider before they submit their resume. And we also have a series of videos that are available to help them with not only giving them tips on what to include or not to include in the resume, but also on using the resume builder that's available within Illinois WorkNet. Okay, and also with another example is with the Apply for Jobs. Again, we provide them with different processes for applying, or not really applying for a job, different tools to help them apply for a job and where to find job leads. And so we have the job search tool. With the job search tool, you can choose which area of Illinois and enter various search criteria, so you can narrow it down to certain, if you just want to look for nursing, or you just wanted to look for medical assistant, you can narrow your job search down that way, and it provides you to online resources and job leads. We also have the potential employer search. This is a search that is available. It's not to say that they are hiring, but you can narrow down your search to, let's say I always want to find an employer in Carbondale, and I want to find out who would employ medical assistants. So I can narrow it down to medical assistant. I can narrow it down to my zip code, and I can find it's kind of like the Yellow Pages. I can find a listing of employers for that area, and I can also find out their contact information as well as a little bit about their organization, so I can use that to make a cold call to find out if they are hiring at that time or accepting resumes. We also have services, a services section that's available. So you can find support services such as child care, assistance, financial assistance, healthcare information. That's available on Illinois WorkNet as well. We also have, for those that are going into finding training programs, we have financial aid information that's available. We have statewide financial aid information, background information that's available, but we also have an area here for local listings. So a person would enter in their zip code, and if that local workforce investment area has any information on either local scholarships or grants or any type of information related to financial aid, that would be available on this page. Also related to finding training programs, we have various searches. You can either search by a program, or you can take a look at the different community colleges and so forth that are, or universities that are available throughout the state of Illinois. If you search by a program, you simply enter in your search criteria, which would be your program name and your zip code and your radius miles, how far you're willing to travel, and then the results would give you the program name as well as the type of a certificate or degree. It also gives you a link to the school, let you know where it is, and give you a map. That's a basic information, an overview, a general overview of Illinois WorkNet. And before I do a demonstration, or even if you'd like to, if you want to, I was going to cover some specific items that were highlighted in the PowerPoint on our website, but are there any certain areas that you would like to make sure I cover? Would you like to see a demonstration of? If you would, go ahead and type it into the chat section. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my computer screen. Typing or not. Okay. So if you have any certain areas, you can type in the chat, and I should be able to see it in the lower right-hand side of my computer. But if I don't catch it and you want me to show you something, just let me know. Okay. This is Illinois WorkNet, the home page, or what we call the splash page. And I'm going to click into individuals. Some of the information that we covered on the individuals pathway would be, we talked about, hold on. I'm already logged in, so it says welcome Natasha. And so the information on the individuals pathway is that we try to break it down into manageable pieces or information, bits of information. So they can look at the jobs page, the education page, and the services page. That information is also available over on the left-hand navigation. Some additional areas that we have over on the left-hand navigation would be the laid-off worker assistance page, computer skills, economic recovery. Okay. As you look at this page, again, remember that I am logged in already. I have my icon so I can look at my skills and interests. I can look at my resume, go to my resume information, my news and events, any messages that I might have. We have, with the different programs that we have, when a person is added to a customer group, the workforce professionals can send them a message. We also have a newsletter that's available that they can sign up for. We have one for the individuals, businesses, and for the workforce professionals. So it's customized to the audience. With the summer youth employment activities, I'm going to go ahead and I'll click on this link just to show you an example of our interactive forms that we're going to be using more and more as we move forward. Okay, and I'll show you the interactive map in just a minute. Okay, with the activities, they just would simply click on the activity. We try to break everything down into 3 basic steps. Next activity. So we always try to break things down into 3 basic steps. So in this situation, They could do step 1 is just simply completing the activity, provides them some general information with links to the information in the site, as well as a place where they can save the results. We also have a printer-friendly version for each of these that provides, you'll notice it looks a little bit different because when we provide the printer-friendly version, we include the path on how to get to that page within the site. Okay, and it opens up all what we call the accordions. Okay. As we had one person that wanted to see the interactive map, so let me go back to my home page. We'll take a look at the interactive map. We have it as click here to find a location near you. There's also a link to the interactive map on the left-hand side. Within Illinois WorkNet, we do try to always provide more than one way to find the information because we know that different people have different styles for navigating through the site. So you can do an advanced search. What I'm going to do, you might, let me make this text larger so it's easier for you to see. You can either search by our individual sites or business sites. Our business sites would provide a listing of business services teams. You can search by a zip code, a county, or an LWIA. You can enter in the keyword, or you can take a look at locations that specialize in ex-offenders, older workers, veterans, laid-off workers, or youth. If you're simply trying to find a location that just that offers computers with internet access, you can take a look at those, as well as if you're trying to find a site that has different types of workshops that might be available. If I wanted to do a quick search, I could do that. And let me just go ahead. I'll take LWIA 25 because that's where everybody's located today. And I have a listing of my locations, my Illinois WorkNet centers. The physical locations are listed first. And then we have a listing of Illinois WorkNet partners and partner sites. So for each of these, I have my hours of operation, and I can take a look at the different services that are available at each of these locations. That way we're not directing a person to a location that doesn't have what they're looking for. And I did see, I missed it, I saw something come in on another suggestion on what you'd like to see. Could you just tell me? I missed it coming in the lower right-hand side. I'd like to set up a school teacher. What LWIA do? You want to set up an account as a public school teacher instructor. So what you're saying is what you'd really like to do is set up a workforce professionals account. Is that correct? I think that's what you're asking. Yes. Okay. Okay. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. So anyway, let me real quick cover some of the information on here for the individuals, and then I'll show you how to set up an account, a workforce, or request a workforce professionals account. So again, as you are on the site, if you're logged in, you have access to the personalization features that are available. Over on the right-hand side is where you'll see the local interests, and these are local promos. You'll see statewide interests. If you go to the jobs page, then you can find the job search resources. You can take a look at exploring information. If I went through earlier and I did a search for medical assistant, this is an example of how we access our partners' data, and we can look at an occupational overview. We can look at employment and outlook, so I can see what are there expected to be jobs like this in the future. I can take a look at wages and trends and see how much they make. I can look at advancement opportunities. I can watch a video, and I can also connect to training programs. I also have information on resume writing, interviewing, and finding a job. Where it says job search, this is where you would find the Illinois WorkNet job search tool, which spiders the different types of, whether it's a private job board or a recruiting site or newspapers. You can use the job search tool to find various jobs throughout the state. We also have an area called local listings, And this is, again, a local content area where individuals can find information for local jobs. On the education page, it covers information anywhere from preparing for your SAT, learning about your SAT, taking the GED, finding the English as a second language courses. We also have the training programs where you can find WIA certified training providers and scholarship information. On our scholarship information page, again, that's where you can find some local content as well. So let me go back to, and we also have the services. Let me just click on key sectors just to show you the difference in the pages. We try to make them a little bit more snazzy. So it has a little bit different look and feel, but the same information is still basically, they can still find the same type of information. It's displayed in a different way. They can also find information for individuals and businesses on the same page, as well as more career pathway information. So it's, again, providing more guidance as far as, if you're interested in environmental service, then you can find a grouping of careers within that career pathway. Again, this is the business branding page that's available for businesses, so they can, many associations or businesses can use this so that they can direct people into going into this occupation or in this career field. Let me go back to our main page, and I want to just click on disability resources real quick. It has the same basic look and feel, that's similar to the key sectors pathway. Okay, I saw a question about who's our typical end user. Not sure if I saw that correctly or not. Most of our individuals would fall, are individuals at this time, between individuals and workforce professionals who assist those individuals. Those are our main groups right now. We're working on building the business side of it. But again, as we work with the Illinois Department of Human Services, working with them, they direct their individuals to the disabilities pathway. So it's available to anyone, but primarily individuals who are looking for jobs and finding training. Those are our primary audience right now. Again, you can still have access to your personalization features when you're in the different pathways, but you can access information specific to that pathway. So again, we're trying to group the information, whether it's just for individuals or individuals with disabilities, into groupings. For the business pathway, I'm just going to click on that real quick, and then we'll go to the workforce pathway. The business pathway has information for recruiting. We talk about how hiring or recruiting individuals with disabilities, older workers, veterans, youth, and different tools that are available to help a business recruit their employees. We have training resources that are available, and then we also have developing resources, so resources to help businesses develop their business. So labor market information, regional information, social media, so forth. Okay, I'm going to go back to our home page because there's questions specifically on how to set up an Illinois WorkNet account. So if you want to have access to the Illinois WorkNet, I'm going to log out real quick. Go to the home page. You can click on the link to set up a free My Illinois WorkNet account. And whenever you do that, you're going to select option 3. And you'll be able to select from your area within the state. So I thought we had somebody from Waukegan. So I can click on LWO1. And you can, if you're associated with any of these organizations, then go ahead and select one of these organizations. If you would like for this course, we can, if Marcia, whoever, if you'd like us to set up an account where it's just like specifically for SIUC, students, then we can set up something specifically for that as well. But here's the deal. If you're going to be using it with, if you're I believe the situation was a high school. I'm a high school or instructor, and I want to set up an Illinois WorkNet account. What we would do in that situation is if you do not see your location here, then we would ask you, it says if you cannot find your site, click here. And what we would do is have you, if your site's not listed, all you would do is complete a, you would complete a form. So I'm going through the process. So I have to click on one. So that was my example. It would go ahead and default to your LWIA, and you would simply put in your information. And what that'll do is set up an account for you and put it kind of in a holding pattern until once you complete your site information, then it will ask you once you complete your information, it'll ask you for your location information. So if you're a high school, you would put, Waukegan High School, located on, the business address, and answer, hours of operation and what type of access you would have. It's a form that just walks you through that process. And then at the end, an email is sent to the Illinois WorkNet coordinator, and they review that information. And if your information, if it's appropriate for you to be an Illinois WorkNet location, then they will approve your site. Your site would be added to the site management database, and you would have access to Illinois WorkNet. It is a password-protected area, so all of the requests for Workforce Professionals Pathway accounts are reviewed and verify that they are real people. Okay. That's probably more information than you wanted to know, but okay. I missed that question. If you're working from home, if you're working from home, what information would you put in there? Is that what you're asking?
No.
I missed that question.
You working from home? If so, I want your job.
Oh, no, I'm not working from home. I'm in an office. We are very busy. You can ask Marcia. This website keeps us very, very busy. So
definitely so.
There's a lot going on. So let me look.
I know you're trying to get out of there by 11:15, Tasha. So any final questions here? I mean, this has just been overwhelming with information. Any final questions from any of you?
Tasha, how is it that you said we access the PowerPoint?
I'll put it back up there on my very last page. It has a link to it. And then also what we do, and I'm trying to be really good about this, is, okay, real quick, whenever you set up your Illinois WorkNet account, what you see on my page will be more than what you'll see on your page just because it's at the statewide level. And there's a lot more information. But when you come to your Illinois WorkNet page, then you'll see, a listing of, we try to keep our, like the main things that are going on right now in the center of the page. And as you scroll down, you have the frequently requested documents. You don't have to be logged in to see the frequently requested documents. Once you are logged in and you have been pre-registered, you just have to request to take the CEWA course, the Certified Illinois WorkNet Advisor online course. It'll have a link, and so when you click on this link, it'll take you directly into your online courses. If you're a content manager, it'll take you directly into your content management courses or area. But on this page where it says frequently requested resources for workforce professionals, you just have to look for that little toolbox. We have print materials and archived Illinois WorkNet webinars. So that's where I can put this archived webinar on that page. And it'll have your PowerPoint and so forth on there as well. So there's quite a bit of information here. Just an example, I'll show you a real quick example of a customer group, as I mentioned, for the summer use. Whenever you put, has background information on how to use the customer groups, but then once a person, you can just simply search for a person and add them to the group, and depending on the type of group, this happens to be this happens to be Summer Youth Employment Program, so I can take a look at who the user is, their contact information. This happens in this particular program. It'll link up to IWDS. I can see if they're a new user. I can see all their program, where their student summary page, so like how well they did on their tests. And then I can also take a look at their activities and the responses that they provided for each of those activities. So that's just an example of how to use a customer group. It's really easy. They just search and add them to the group, and they can run reports and all kinds of information on them. So, okay, let me go ahead and I'll stop sharing my computer screen. Is there a training manual for Illinois WorkNet? Actually, the training manual is the online course, and the training is again, it's a self-paced web-based course. It's about 5 hours long usually to complete it. You get a 1 CEU through SIU Carbondale, and otherwise all the other information that's related to like training would be on Illinois WorkNet on the Workforce Professionals Pathway. It's kind of like the Workforce Professionals Pathway is the training manual. The information changes so quickly, or it's I don't know saying that it changes so much. It's added to and enhancements. That's the best way for us to provide it to you in a timely manner is on the Workforce Pathway, and then the announcements are sent out through like Twitter and Facebook. And the PowerPoint is available like right now, actually. Let me just switch to a different page. And it's right here in the bottom in the file share. And if you want to go ahead and you can answer the questions, the polling questions that are available. And I just have a little polling, or not a chat feature, or chat section down there. It says list 3 things that you learned or things that you would like to use with your customers. If you could list those down in the chat. And that'll just kind of give me an overall idea of what struck your interest.
Sasha, I'm trying to get the PowerPoint to save to my computer so I can put it on a jump drive or something.
Uh-huh.
It's working.
It's not working?
Yeah, the save to my computer option button
Uh-huh.
is working.
Is it not working for everybody, or?
It's working for some.
Okay. Well, we can make it, available off the website. Also, I can email it. This happens to be the PDF version. If you want the actual PowerPoint, then I can send that as well.
I figured it out. If for anyone else, if you have the pop-up blocker, just turn it off.
Oh, okay.
I apologize for that, but it wasn't working.
No problem.
When will you put it on the actual website underneath the documents and PowerPoint? That's what I'm...
I can do that tomorrow. I have to leave after our session today, but I can put it up there tomorrow, and I can just have them promote the page tomorrow.
Thank you. I don't have
So it'll be there by the end of the day tomorrow, or first thing Friday morning.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
One more question here.
Sure.
No, I was asking you, Dr. Anderson. I just don't understand why, like in 466, they teach you that WIA money comes through the Department of Labor. So why is it? Yes, this is where this money comes from. But I asked that question. I mean, the Department of DEO is Department of Labor Fund. Primarily Federal Department of Labor Fund. Okay, any final questions of Tasha? I know she's trying to get out of there. But thank you.
Oh, you're fine. I mean, just, yeah.
Anything else? Okay, everybody say thank you, Tasha.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have a good send-off for your family.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks a million, Tasha.
Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye, thanks.
Bye-bye.